name is Max James, and as always, I am one half of the TTN Nerds, and today is day 24 of the 31 Days of Fright horror movie project presented by the TTN Nerds, and the theme for this week has been double features. And the double feature I'll be watching today is the extended cut of George A Romero's Dawn of the Dead, and as well as Day of the Dead. I have a lot of movie to watch, so I'm going to get right into watching them, and as always, I'll be right back in a few seconds to tell you what you need to know about these movies. I just got done watching Dawn and Day of the Dead, and I have a few categories to get through to tell you what you need to know about these movies, and the first up is the plot. Dawn of the Dead's plot is essentially a bunch of survivors who hold out in a shopping mall and just trying to survive, and this mall is just fully stocked with food, guns, ammo, just everything that you need to survive in a zombie apocalypse. And this movie is the staple of all zombie movies, and the plot of the Day of the Dead is essentially a group of scientists are trying to find the cure for the undead while they're living in an underground bunker with a group of military assistants who are there to provide security for the team. And throughout the whole movie, the scientists are kind of starting to rub the military the wrong way, and it's starting to get some of the military members killed, and it's just not sitting well with the military. And there's like, hey, you gotta show us some evidence, or we're not gonna help you out any longer. So that's essentially the plot lines for both movies. And two is the cast. The cast for these movies are awesome. For Dawn of the Dead, you got Francine, who is she worked at the television studio. You got Flyboy, who is the traffic airman, who flies the helicopter for the traffic reports. You got Peter and Roger. They are part of like a SWAT team. They kind of go around doing SWAT team stuff. Then you got that's it for the characters for the Dawn of the Dead. But they're so awesome. They're just so diverse in every single way. It just works so well. Then you got Day of the Dead. You got the group of scientists who is led by, I can't remember her name, but I'm sorry, but she's just strong in this movie. She's stronger than anybody in this movie, mentally and sometimes physically. So then you got the military, who is led by, I can't remember his name either, I'm sorry, but his name is Rhodes in the movie. He's starting to get fed up with the scientists, so there's some tension going on with them, and all their acting is perfect. But I do have to say there is some problems with the acting, just a little bit, just because there are some lines that are kind of delivered very campy. But that's like the most problematic of these movies, just a few deliveries, that's it, with the cast. But overall, both casts are very, very well cast. You might not recognize any of them, but that's probably a good reason. So then 3 is the special effects. The special effects in this movie are great. Dawn of the Dead, the zombies aren't quite what modern zombies look like. They have this really gray tint to them. They look like someone just kind of painted gray on them, which exactly, I think that's what they did. But it works so perfect because it kind of shows that they're dead, just because we have like this pinkish color to our skin, and if you kind of take all that out, and they start turning gray, and it's really awesome. Then the special effects for Day of the Dead are really, really done well, because the zombies kind of have this greenish tint, the green sickly color, and it actually starts to show that the zombies are starting to decompose. The eyeballs are starting to sink back into their head, and it just kind of starting to outline the outline of the skeletal structure of the skull. And it's just showing that time has gone by between Dawn and Day of the Dead. Then you got the deaths. The deaths in this movie are pretty great as well. The two key deaths in both the movies are exactly the same, but they're done differently, just enough to stand out. The Dawn of the Dead one is this guy gets his stomach ripped, he gets his abdomen kind of ripped open, but he's kind of screaming, and the people just like leave him to die. Then in Dawn of the Dead, this dude, he ends up getting ripped in half, about the same area where the other guy kind of gets his stomach ripped open, and he's just yelling, choke on him. And it's very, very, very gory scenes. I mean, there are very, very gory scenes. I mean, and some of the zombie deaths are pretty cool. You got some of the trucks running over him. There's a helicopter cuts off the top of the head of one. Then, then Day of the Dead, you got Bub. He kills Rhodes. I'm sorry, that's a little spoiler, but it doesn't really kill him. He just kind of demobilizes him just enough to where other zombies get him, and it's really cool. So the deaths are really great. Oh, speaking of Day of the Dead, sorry. There's two deaths that are in particular that stand out in that movie too. You got this one dude, he gets his head kind of ripped off, and his vocal cords are stretching. So as he's screaming, the scream is getting higher and higher and higher, and it just works so. It's really gory and awesome at the same time. Then the other scene that stands out is this guy kind of getting his eyeball ripped out, and this Day of the Dead is very, very, very gory. And God, I forgot I had my glasses off. But anyways, and next is the ending. The ending for both movies are kind of very cliffhanger-ish in a way, but they work well with the movie. It just doesn't leave. I mean, even though they leave cliffhanger-ish, but it doesn't leave like it makes you mad. It just kind of makes it like, okay, there's more to come, that kind of thing. Then I have my classification scale, 1 being the worst and 5 being the best. 1 is your run-of-the-mill horror movie. 2 is a best watch with a group. 3 is a good horror movie, it just doesn't offer anything new to the horror genre. 4, it's a good it just helps push the horror genre forward. And 5 is a horror classic. And Day and Dawn of the Dead are both number 5s. They are both horror classics because it proves that you can have gore and violence and all that good stuff mixed with an excellent story and still be able to make the characters relatable and all that good stuff. So that's what makes Day and Dawn of the Dead kind of stand out above the rest of the zombie genre. So that's really all I gotta say. So my name is Max James. I'm one half the 2 Ton Nerds, and I'm going to go geek out.